Okay. Now we come to page, verse 29. See. What the verse 29 says, let us see. For through the power of bodhicitta, former sins are totally consumed, and merit ocean verse is gathered in. It is therefore said that they excel the Charavakas. So now here's saying, so you see in the about this, regarding to this, look at the first chapter, the benefits of the bodhicitta. No, as for purification, there's so many other practices for the purification. Just the bodhicitta is the complete method to consume all the non-virtues obscuration. See, it's said like this: the last kalpa, the fire which consumes this whole planet. So bodhicitta is like that, which consumes all the obscurations. So there's a relative bodhicitta and absolute bodhicitta. So that's what it's saying. For through their power of bodhicitta, former sins or all the obscurations are totally consumed. You see, so bodhicitta is the consummate path towards enlightenment. And with that, on the other side, the merit ocean vast is gathered. Ocean-like merit means merit wisdom are both are gathered, accumulated. So if we practice all Dharma practice on the basis of bodhicitta, and our practice becomes so productive. If you do frustration with bodhicitta. If you chant mantra with bodhicitta. Or if you meditate with the bodhicitta. All these practices become very powerful, very productive. No. So because of that, it is therefore said that they excel in these practices, excel the Charavakas. No saying here Charvaka is a bad thing, but saying Buddha taught, of course, as I mentioned, Buddha taught the Charvaka, particular Buddha path. Buddha taught these teachings according to the needs of the individuals. For there are individuals who are desperate to free from samsara, but not interested to benefit all sentient beings. So to fit their mind, Buddha taught their path. So Charavakas, as you see, they're not what's called the suffering of the samsara is too much for them. So they are not interested to helping sentient beings. It doesn't mean they don't have compassion. They have such great compassion, but they don't have bodhicitta to reborn repeatedly. And you see, they are so yearning to achieve this cessation of suffering. Because this five skandha, the body we have, is the source of all the suffering. it is, So until we fully exhaust this skandha, you cannot free from suffering. So to free from suffering, so you have to achieve the cessation. So in their part, this is how they achieve their part. But their part, that much they can purify their obscurations and accumulate merit to achieve that. Whereas the bodhicitta, so not just that, unlimited wisdom are gathered, unlimited accumulation of merits are gathered. So that's what is to say. So we always should start with the bodhicitta. Then this number 30, mounted on the horse of bodhicitta, which puts to flight all mournful weariness. What licit person could be in despair, proceeding in this way from joy to joy? You see? So, no? So, Bodhisattvas who mounted on the horse of bodhicitta, say, means riding on the bodhicitta. So it's a metaphor, the horse as a metaphor for the bodhicitta. You ride on the horse, then you just race to the other place. That's where you want to go. So like that, you ride on the bodhicitta horse, and then make journey to Buddhahood. See, so which puts to flight all mournful. So that you see, that puts a flight means that dispels all the mental weariness, 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 yes, all the mental kind of say disturbance, all the mental disturbances are purified, dispelled. So that Bodhisattva has a lucid mind, very clear mind. So there's what lucid person then can be despair, so how can we become lazy? Say here, despair means how can that person become lazy? So riding on the horse of bodhicitta, which kind of dispels all the mournful weariness, dispelling all these mental obscurations. So that great Bodhisattvas, how can we discourage? Instead, should be so encouraged, because proceeding in this way from joy to joy is practicing bodhicitta is becoming better and better, more wise, more peaceful, more practice. See, that's where you can help others. That's the best way to help others, showing the path. See, make sense? So these are the why we need diligence. You see, now please don't forget. Our theme is the diligence or the perseverance, or it's called joyous effort, strength. And then you see bearing, bearing the consequences and going through all the path from suffering to happiness, not to suffering to suffering. Samsara is suffering to suffering. Always there's a suffering. So we have to practice this bodhicitta. More practice bodhicitta and better base situation, you see. Not so much chanting mantras, prayers. Of course, we should do prayers and chant mantras, but when there comes the karma, so cannot do so much. All the Buddhas of the 10 directions, they are saying the prayers, they are chanting the mantras, but when there comes the karma, then, so like at the time of Bodhicharyavatra Muni, Mongoliana, the great Buddhist disciple, is beaten by the heretics. And he's just barely alive. Whole his body into pieces. And all the monks were so kind of disappeared. So how Mongoliana happened like this? So the body took to the Buddha. So what happened? The Buddha said, it's karma. We have to take care of the karma. So when you see, when that happens, of course, Buddha's prayers with the Mongoliana. I'm sure Buddha is saying very strong mantras, but Mongoliana is suffering, and Mongolians died from that, you see. So Buddha's message is practice bodhicitta. Avoid all the non-virtues, accumulate the virtue, and practice. We chant mantra conjunction with this kind of practice. We say prayers conjunction with this kind of practice. Not just merely, just merely saying the mantras, merely chanting powerful prayers. I don't know how much it can do. So please understand this very clearly. So why practice is so important. See. Okay. Now here, verse 31 explains the methods of the diligence or the perseverance. So as mentioned before, in the samsara, what happened in samsara? Because being under the control of the laziness of attachment to this life, laziness being just scattered for this life, become busy, all kind of self let down. So we went through those in the samsara. So after that, it described, we have enough suffering in the samsara. That doesn't help us to free from samsara. We should cultivate bodhicitta, practice that. And if with that suffering comes, that kind of suffering is limited. We can overcome and free from the suffering, achieve Buddhahood. So you see, this step by step went. Now, if you practice, it can happen. Because there's no self. But somehow we're introduced the self. And we're interested in the self. And now we're ready to sacrifice for ourselves. No matter what kind of suffering is there, we're just so blind and suffering is there. So he has changed that habit from self-cherishing to cherish all sentient beings, practice bodhicitta, all this. Now to do this, we need such kind of different, powerful kind of tool of the practice of the perseverance or diligence. Page 31, now look at it. The forces, so that skills the good of beings. So it's forces. The tool of the diligence to secure the good of beings, to protect sentient beings. Now there are aspiration, the force of aspiration. Then next is the force of steadfastness. The third is actually third is the joy, the force of joy. And the last should be relinquishment. So there are four of those forces we should use as a tool for the practice of the perseverance, diligence. Okay. Now here, aspiration grows through fear of suffering and contemplation of the benefit to be attained, enlightenment. That is here aspiration. So aspiration here is not just aspiration, what we think. I aspire to have a good lunch. I aspire to go to a good place. No, it's also kind of aspiration. But here aspiration is built on the base, your true kind of strength of the mind. Like say, there's a faith, there are three faiths which mentioned in the jewel ornament of liberation. The faith of trust, longing, and clear, you see. So trust means you trust the causality. When there's a cause of suffering, there's a truth of suffering. When there's a virtue, there's a happiness. When there's a non-virtue, there's a suffering. So you have trust in the cause and the result, you see. So aspiration. So when you are fully convinced the nature of the samsara, from the God realm, formless God realm to the hell realm, all the suffering the samsara is from the manifestation of negative cause, non-virtue, and the conditions, you see. And whatever temporary peace and happiness there is also manifest from the virtue. And enlightenment, Buddhahood, is also from the cause of the virtue, accumulation of merit and wisdom, you see. When you are fully convinced on this causality, then you see we don't have much other choice except follow the path. If we really desire to free from suffering, if you say, oh, suffering is okay, if I suffer, it's okay. If somebody takes my life, it's okay, If these things are just, if you don't care, of course you don't care the cause as well. But if you care about the result, I care for peace and happiness. I care not free. I care free from suffering. Then we have to care the cause, no choice. So you see, when you are fully convinced in this causality, then there comes the aspiration See, this was aspiration grows through fear of suffering. See, not only yourself, other sentient beings, everyone around you. No, like say, look at your best friend. No, if he or she is going through the non-virtuous action, because you care that person, you say, don't do this. This will bring suffering. No, because you fear your friend will suffer. So you ask that person, don't commit that cause for the suffering. See, that's what is here. Fear of suffering. Here, fear is not just fear, it's just awareness. No, you have such awareness. You know the consequences of that, the action of that person. See, if a mother, who has a child, if the child is going to the fire, where there's a large fire, the child doesn't know that, barely can walk, then going towards the fire, and the mother will immediately grab the child, said, don't go there, because the mother has such a great care of the child will be burned in the fire. So like that kind of, you see. So this again, Buddhism, Buddha's teaching is not something, a religion. No. It's to do something right. So all now in the Samsara, there are good things. All the positive causes are created by that wisdom, not by stupidness, not by ignorance. So all the moral ethics are based on that kind of wisdom. So that's Buddha's teaching. That's the Dharma, you can say. Dharma is not a religion, see. So then the fear of suffering and contemplation of the benefit to be attained. See, then what kind of benefit? If I engage the 10 virtues, what kind of benefit if I practice the bodhicitta? See, that you see, all the peace and happiness in our life in the samsara, and to free from the samsara, and to achieve complete enlightenment, is, you see, the 10 virtues, love and compassion and bodhicitta, you see, and the 6 paramitas. So this is it's called the force of aspiration. See, the force of aspiration. So through that you inspire to practice bodhicitta. You cultivate again and again, repeatedly, and follow the path. And then you dedicate, no matter how old you are, until stop my breath, I will practice this. As long as I have this precious human life, I will practice this. And I will share others. See? So that's the verse 31. So see, the furthermore is now here coming. See, therefore, so now the continuation, leaving everything that is adverse to it, you see, all the non-virtuous actions, thoughts, which adverse the virtue. See, I will labor to increase my diligence. You see, what I said, I will labor to increase my diligence is that you see, through the aspiration, that's above repeating aspiration and self-confidence means the steadfastness, courage, and relinquishment means to relinquish all the non-virtues. And then joy, practice the joyful. So these is called 4 forces to practice the diligence, perseverance. Then there's there are 2 powers or strength. By strength of earnest application, in Tibetan called Zombal Hulemba. And then the second is called Wangyurwa, the exertion of control. So these 2 are added. So 4 forces and 2 strength of power. See, now to practice your diligence in the practice of bodhicitta. See. So now please understand this 4 forces and 2 strength of power. So 4 forces: aspiration, self-confidence, or steadfastness, and the third relinquishment, to avoid all. We need a diligence to avoid all the non-virtues, and then joy, gawa, and then we need strength to see earnest application. We need such a strength, power to follow into the application practice. And then say Wangyurwa, we need exertion of control the mental afflictions. Let mental affliction, not let mental affliction take our mind. Instead, we take over the mental afflictions. See. Now, first, the force of aspiration. So I explained briefly about the aspiration, So please get that. It's not just aspire something, but based on reason, confidence, courage. This all includes there. Verse 23 said, the boundless evil of myself and others, I must bring them all to nothing. See, first those 2 lines, you see. In the samsara, you see, we have a lot of these negativities, another was bad habit for the suffering. Like say, when someone is so habituated, drink, cannot stop. Even though people say all their family, relatives, friends tell you that's not good. And the person will say, yes, I know it, but it can't help me. I can't help it. You have to drink, So it's because of the habit. The bad habits will kill you. The samsara, we have that kind of habit, so much negative mental afflictions, like attachment, aversion, the ignorance, pride, jealousy, greed, all this you see, these habits which ruins this whole world, our society, you see. And all these modern technologies, they will support to these kind of habits, you see. They are so impressive, but you see. Now, see, we have to have a skill how to utilize all the technologies for the good of the people, for the good of the world. So we need that wisdom, you see, skill. These technologies, they are neither good nor bad. If we use in a good way, like this with the Zoom we have, it's so beneficial. Now it goes to all different places, those who are interested. But if used in a bad way, it can be so destructive. So we need kind of wisdom, mental power. So he is saying, see, boundless evil of myself and others. So I must bring them all to nothing by practicing bodhicitta. All the negative habits which brings the suffering to myself and others, I must practice now, to make them nothing. It's our choice. So this is why Buddha's wisdom is indispensable. Buddha's teaching is mental technology. How to see the cause of suffering, the mental negative habits. And then Buddha taught how to purify them, how to handle them, with a skillful method. As earlier mentioned, you start with like giving a piece of vegetable. Step by step, later yourself, you can see as a nature of the vegetable, and you have no fear to give. So there's here, I must bring them all to nothing. Even though a single of these ills may take unnumbered ages to exhaust, you see. Singleness, one by one, to purify these, they're called 84,000 of mental afflictions. So we have to purify all this one by one. It may take a long time, saying, but we should not disheartened. We have to practice without choice. So there's no negotiation. We have to go forward. See? So for countless eons, we have to practice this, purify them step by step. So now it's my perseverance. And then how much perseverance I have, diligence I have, and how much there is negative habits, cause of sufferings there, and how much I'm practicing them. It's just disheartening. So it's just to reminding ourselves, because we don't aware those. So non-diligence is the force of aspiration. And if I find within myself, see, no sign that faults are even starting to be declined, you see. Look at ourselves. When I look myself, no, now I'm getting old, you see. How much good sign I have, purifying my mental affliction. Very little. So we all practitioners look at yourself individually. See. So I have been practicing Dharma from since when? Look at yourself. Now, right now, look at you in your own mind. How much I have decreased, purified my attachment, my anger, my jealous, greed, you see, and my self-grasping, the importance of self-grasping, how much I have decreased. It's very little. Look at this. No. That's what is the practice. It's not how much you got the title. No. This title, you go to university and all these different titles, the MD, master degree, and then professor degree, all the degree you have. Or in the Buddhist, they're teaching there, the great, this is such a great master, he studied this Pitaka, this text, that text. He got Kempo degree, he got Khenchen degree, he got Drupin degree, all the degrees you have, title you have, but how much your mental afflictions are erased. Very little. Sometimes the degrees are they are only to increase your attachment to your degree, build your ego stronger. So I have this degree, now I'm very important. So when you are not prepared, Dharma practice enough, getting a lot of degrees are not good idea. It's only to aid more cause of suffering. So meditate on this. So here, these are such very important. Now, as mentioned earlier, don't feel that these are bad thing. See, just look at directly. Very practically approach what it makes sense. Which the teaching is introducing us. If we don't have them, that's good news. Wonderful, Okay, so may take unnumbered ages to exhaust it may take countless eons to exhaust these mental afflictions. So you're saying now 34. And if I find within myself no sign that faults are even starting to be cleansed, you see, I don't see this attachment to myself. It's not starting to decrease. You see, as I mentioned, I'm doing this, I'm important, and we develop stronger ego. And then when people don't respect me, I'm angry. So I know these things. I can explain these things. They don't respect me. Oh, no. Then it hurts my ego. So that is the bad sign of the Dharma practice. So I have to reduce this attachment, grasping to the self. reduce, purify, reduce the habit. It takes time, see. So why does my heart not burst asunder? See, it's wonderful. My heart is not burst into pieces. Actually, I should be doing that because there's no sign of progress in my practice. See, this time as I am for boundless pain. See. So these are the, because these, as mentioned, mental afflictions, they are the direct root cause of suffering. That's the Dharma practice, Dharma study. So that's why look at all our great masters who went to retreat and practice, neglecting to cherishing this importance of this life. Because this cherishing to this life relates to our ego attachment. And that's what we have to reduce, we have to practice to purify. Wherever you are, in the retreat or in the society, with your family, oh, this is important. Otherwise, sometimes also going to retreat is a way to develop your ego. Say, I have done 3-year retreat, so I'm very important. So we advertise this monk, this nun went to 3-year retreat, 12-year retreat, and then comes back with such ego. Oh, my retreat was not so easy, but I did it. And then would have such a kind of as mentioned, self-grandized ego, powerful ego. I know this, I did this, instead of being a service for the Dharma. Or you studied for years and you got such a high degree. Divine is a definite degrees, I studied this philosophy, that book, this, and then develop such a great ego. So that is not a good sign for our Dharma practice. So these are the way to reduce, purify. We should tune in these egos. Let it dissolve into emptiness. And then manifest bodhicitta from the emptiness. And manifest peace, harmony to help sentient beings. So that's what. Now you know how we make the diligence or the force of aspiration. We aspire the root cause of suffering. So we purify that. It aspires, seeing the suffering is come from all the non-virtue. And using that, the force of aspiration to eliminate to that kind of cause of suffering. So bring that kind of diligence, you see. Then verse 35 says, now on the other side, saying, good qualities for my and others' sake, though they though there be many, I must now accomplish. Even though for each of them, I must endure for unnumbered ages. Also, good qualities to accomplish, it takes a long time. Now, to say prayers like may all sentient beings have happiness and causes happiness. It's easy to say it. Also to contemplate, oh, I wish everybody has happiness and they have causes of happiness. It's also to say, not so difficult, but to bring in the mind stream is very difficult. Especially when you encounter difficult position, then we're burst of our mental afflictions. No. We scream, say, why I deserve this. No. So good qualities, we practice basically it's the good qualities, practice of bodhicitta. Then practice of generosity, moral ethics, patience, you see. These are the good qualities. No, for myself and for others' sake. Though there be many, there are so many good qualities. I must now accomplish. I must accomplish these excellent qualities. Qualities on the path and the fruition Buddhahood. So this you have to see. So when you read Jewel Ornament of Liberation, there's 5 parts, 10 bhumis. What kind of qualities are required to achieve, to go through these paths and bhumi? See, that is what saying, you know. Even though for each of them, you know, I must endure, so I must make effort. Go through, see, unnumbered ages for countless eons. You see, the first part, second part, it takes one countless eon to the first bhumi, from the second bhumi to the 10th bhumi, another countless eons. From second bhumi to the seventh bhumi, it takes one countless eons. From 8th bhumi to the 10th bhumi, the last third countless eons. That's what it is saying, you know, how it takes to get used to these excellent qualities, you know, develop step by step. So how much I have them now here. So say, be realistic. No. Don't go around and say, I know this, I know that, and I'm that, I got this, and this, you know. Instead, look at directly to yourself and how much you have achieved. No. Be realistic. And in that way, it will bring more peace and happiness. See? And what is said now is continues the verse 36 from the 35. As it said, acquaintance I have never gained with even part of such great qualities. It is indeed amazing that I render meaningless this life, that somehow I have gained. So it's just looking to oneself. I'm not a good Dharma practitioner. So as mentioned, there's qualities on the path, and there's the fruition of the quality of the Buddhahood. I have achieved very few. Actually, I know them, but I don't have them, you see. These qualities I know, but I don't have with me, you know. It's not I have accomplished. That's what it's called acquaintance. No, I'm not got used to this. I'm not within that. See, acquaintance I've never gained, you see. With even part of such great qualities. Part, you see, not all, part, small part. Even I don't have a small part of this. So, sir, I wasted my precious human life. See, this is said here. This life that somehow I have gained, so this precious human life that I have, which somehow through my previous good deeds, I got this precious human life, but I did not kind of utilize this precious human life in the best way to gain these great qualities. It became useless or meaningless. It didn't bring meaning having this precious human life. Means I know just look from the power of from the force of the aspiration. Look at that. I supposed to develop these qualities. No? There's such called enlightenment in one lifetime. Do I have any of this? No. So that's why our previous great masters, look at the Kambupa's life story. No. How much he studied in the Katamba tradition. And then he went to Milarepa and received all those teachings. Then he contemplated, meditated for years, for 6 years in the retreat. Finally, he fully revealed his enlightened qualities. So like this, all the great masters, how they achieve, and therefore how much benefit they produce to the sentient beings. Teachings they taught, you see, not just only chant mantras or say prayers, but sit down and meditate and practice. So great disciples are produced. That's why Dharma still continues in the world. No? So look at to yourself how much I have achieved. See? So this, compared to this, the precious human life, again, I brought into not much benefit. So just look to oneself. I don't have much reason to have ego. No. My attachment is so strong. See, look at your attachment. My aversion is so strong. My greed is so strong. No. So look at this. Reduce all the mental afflictions. So this is called the force of the aspiration. No, look at this. Then next, what? Now here says, all Dharma practices I've done not so much. Here saying, offering, verse 37, offering to Buddha, I have never met. So I haven't done much practice of offering to Buddha, Dharma practice offering, especially. I may have done some water offerings, flower offerings, but not much Dharma practice. Because Buddha is so pleased if you sit down and meditate, cultivate bodhicitta, you know. And Buddha is so pleased if you just purify these mental afflictions, the attachment, aversion, jealous, greed, you see. Said, if I have done any offering this to Buddha to make Buddha happy, so look at to yourself. So I have done very little. No? See, no fees were ever held through my donations. The feast doesn't mean a big picnic. This piece, the feast were held through my donation means that I have made some offerings for the study of the Dharma. There are some people who don't have resource, but they want to practice, study Dharma. So if I made any conditions like that. There are some who want to go to retreat. If I done anything to be successful in the retreat, not so much. So look at this. No works have I accomplished for the teachings. So this is, you see, as earlier mentioned, Dharma teaching, to maintain the Dharma teachings, it's not just a monastery's building of the monastery is built. No, it's not something, some prayers are saying there, or chanting mantras saying there. Not that. Study of the Buddha's teaching. All the three Pitakas, you see, Vinaya, Sutra, Abhidharma, three Pitakas. Now the subject of these three Pitakas, the three trainings, the training of the moral ethics, the training of the samadhi, the training of the prajna, wisdom, awareness. Now that you see, first you study them, then you follow the path. That's what's called Dharma service. That's what it means. No works have I accomplished for the teachings. I haven't done any of these things. Did I have? If you have, rejoice. I have done, and I will continue to do that out of bodhicitta. If I have not done, then how you can expect Dharma can remain in the samsara? Dharma cannot remain in the samsara without cause. See, everybody has the responsibility. Every Dharma practitioners, especially who are practicing bodhicitta, has the responsibility. So see this. The wishes of the poor I left unsatisfied. There are so many who are needy. Have I helped them? See? Not so much. Especially wisdom. The poor, they are poor in the wisdom. They may have a lot of money, wealth, but when the mind is full of afflictions, pleasures, it's so poor because they need more and more. If they have a million, they want to be billion. They want billion. If they have a billion, now they're looking for trillion. See, so they are so poor in the mind. And what can do that? And on the other side, there are so many other poor, no food to eat one day. See? So look at, say, I must practice Dharma. Bodhicitta especially, see. I haven't done any of these things. So you aspire yourself to uproot the cause of suffering and to develop the cause for peace and happiness. This is called the force of aspiration. So, no? So here says, verse 38, here, I have 38, what is it, is, I have not saved the frightened from their fear. The wretch I have not consoled. My mother's pain, her womb's discomfort, these alone are my accomplishment. See, I have this precious human life. I haven't practiced Dharma enough, you see. So this, in the practice of the generosity, there are three: giving wealth, giving fearlessness, giving Dharma teachings. So that's here. First here, no works have I accomplished for the teachings. Did I have done enough practice of the Dharma teachings? See. Then, see, the wishes of the poor are left unsatisfied. It means that the giving wealth. Have I satisfied those who need? Now here, next comes, I have not saved, frightened from their fear of their life. There are many, you see, when there's like thieves or there are some individuals who threaten the life if I save them. Or there are some are so sick and no medicine, the fear of the death. If you give medicine, their life would be safe. So there are so many ways to protect from the fears. If there's someone is burning in the fire, have you saved them from fire? If someone is kind of drowning in the water, have you saved them from that? No? So did I save those individuals who are fear of their life? So look at this. I have done very little. So no? See, then the rest I have not consoled, and I am not giving the comfort, those who need that. So look at these things. My birth in this life is only to give discomfort with my mother. Now, the mother carries the child in the body for 9 months, about 9 months or 10 months. And then at the time of birth, how much pain, suffering is there. And then from that day to raise the child, how much she goes through. So this is all what I did. I made discomfort my mother. This is my life that I have got. It's just to make my mother suffering. Nothing else I have done. See, this is wonderful, These alone are my accomplishment. This is my accomplishment. I only gave suffering of my mother. Besides that, I couldn't do so much. So said, from this, what it shows, loving kindness. The mother showed how much loving kindness to her child, and how much compassion through the compassion, how she protected you. So from there, we practice loving kindness. First, we start with my mother, then to all the sentient beings in the world, not only human beings, even animals, even small insects, birds, in the fish, all that you develop loving kindness and compassion. Then you see, you want happiness, joy, your mother and sentient beings, but they are suffering. That's why you practice compassion. So may all sentient beings free from the suffering and causes suffering. Looking at the suffering of the sentient beings, you practice compassion. Now you practice loving kindness, compassion, but they are not completely happy. But they are not completely free from suffering. Now what we should do, then cultivate bodhicitta. Because when you achieve Buddhahood, then that day, from that state, the total happiness is there. Total free from suffering is there. So that's why we cultivate bodhicitta and practice. So this is what we learn, that you see. Then 39, we do that, 39. Verse 39, my failure to aspire to Dharma, you see, now and in the past, has brought me to my present dereliction, the absence of all the good conditions, who therefore would spurn such aspiration. So who therefore spawns how you can get rid of your aspiration. Saying. This means in the past, for many lifetimes, and in this life, I did not practice bodhicitta enough. Here Dharma means bodhicitta. Because I did not practice wholeheartedly, sincerely. I've studied practice Dharma as a hobby, I like Dharma, it's so good, so it makes me happy, so I like it. but not so sincerely to achieve Buddhahood, to free from samsara, you know. Oh, so Dharma makes me happy, so that's good. And I like to go around those who practice Dharma. It makes me happy, you know, that much. But here's saying, we haven't done sincerely. So I failed to practice the Dharma, the bodhicitta. In the past, especially this life now. Because of that, now it brought me to this place. I don't have any good qualities. No. I don't have enough loving kindness, enough compassion, enough meditation. I have not purified all my mental afflictions. My desire is as strong as used to be. No. My anger is strong as used to be. My greed has been as strong as has been still now. So what kind of Dharma practitioner I am? Look at to yourself this. This is how to test, how to check yourself. No. Like I have a lot of Dharma informations, but I don't have the practice, experience. So look at this. So how dare we can give up aspiration force to study, practice the Dharma. So from today, I make every effort the rest of my life. Even I may stay 1 day, 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, or next for 20 years, I will continue to practice, reinforcing myself. Now, I dare not waste my time, energy. So that kind of we should reinforce ourselves, practice Dharma. Now you can say, I have enough food to eat, a place to live. Say, this is enough. Rest, I will use for Dharma. So this is how, here the practice of diligence, as I mentioned, we picked up this topic. So all to perfect all the 6 perfections, 6 parameters, depends on the diligence. If you don't have the perseverance, the diligence, we cannot perfect anything. We can accomplish nothing. To accomplish this all qualities, good qualities, it's not a Buddhist, you see. It's the qualities for the resource, peace and happiness, every human being in the world. See, wherever you are, which country, language you speak, culture you belong to, but everybody admires loving kindness, compassion, patience, wisdom, kindness. See, anyone who is arrogant, stupid, exploiting others, never appreciate it, never rejoice. See? So that's why Dharma is universal. Dharma is the universal causality for peace and happiness. So we need this method, approach, especially in this 21st century. Everyone has the responsibility No. Make effort. Okay. So maybe it's good to today we stop here, and then next we start from verse 40, like that. If anybody has any questions, or any suggestions, if you disagree where I talk, then you can just tell me, so that I can improve. I can be a little better,
You're wonderful, Khenchen La. You're wonderful.
I'm okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good then.
So we'll see you next Wednesday.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, we continue,
Of course.
Yes.
Are you going to teach on the wisdom chapter?
No, first we finish this chapter 7.
Yeah, but I mean,
then we'll see how it goes, you see.
Oh, I hope so. That's the most difficult chapter. And I took a week-long teaching from His Holiness in Arizona on the wisdom chapter. And it's just wonderful.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I hope so too.
Yes,
Yeah.
Please do.
yes, we'll see.
Way too, because chapter 2 is the most difficult concept.
First, you need diligence. Okay. If you don't have diligence or perseverance, wisdom will do nothing.
Well, I've been with you for over 40 years, Khenchen La.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little tiny bit of diligence.
That's wonderful.
Thank you, Arne.
Thank you, Brian.
Yes, thank you.
Seamlessly. It went seamlessly.
Okay, Rinpoche, do you want the dedication prayers or do you want to?
Yes, no. If there's no questions, yes, we do the dedication prayers.
Okay. So through this marriage, may all beings attain the omniscient state of enlightenment and conquer the enemy of false and delusion. May they all be liberated from this ocean of samsara and from its pounding waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. May I be reborn again and again, and in all my lives may I carry the weight of Bodhicharyavata's teaching. If I cannot bear that weight, at the very least, may I be born with the burden of thinking that the Buddha Dharma could reign.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Oh, thank you,
Thank
Rinpoche.
you.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche.